planning some stuff for my vacation Bible school. And I actually did want to talk to you today about mastering the art of planning and give you some tips about how to make good planning. Planning is the process of creating a roadmap that outlines the steps needed to achieve a specific goal or objective. It involves identifying your objective, assessing your resources, and developing a strategy to achieve that desired outcome. Planning is really important because it provides a direction and purpose and helps allocate resources efficiently. It reduces uncertainty and risk, and it increases the chances of achieving a desired outcome. So planning is really an essential process that helps individuals and even organizations achieve their goals effectively and efficiently, whether you're a student preparing for an exam or a business owner strategizing for the future. Planning is crucial for success, and I plan everything. So there's actually five types of planning, and the first one is strategic planning. Strategic planning focuses on those long-term goals, and it involves high-level decision making. So that would be your 5-year or 10-year plan. And then you have your tactical planning, which focuses on those medium-term goals or a more specific plan for implementation. So it's breaking down those really long-term goals and making them into shorter-term goals. And then you have your operational planning, which actually focuses on short-term goals, which is like day to day, I'm going to have to do the X, Y, and Z each day to reach that medium goal, which will then reach me to that strategical goal, right? And then you have your contingency planning. So that is focusing on preparing for those unexpected events and figuring out how to revise and adjust your plans when something doesn't quite work out. And then the last type of planning is actually your financial planning, and that focuses on managing your finances to achieve your goals. So working on a particular budget and allocating funds for specific areas. At its core, planning involves identifying objectives, assessing resources, and developing a roadmap to achieve the desired outcome. The process requires careful consideration of various factors such as timelines, budget, risk, and people that are involved in those expectations. In this video, we're going to explore the key elements of effective planning and discuss some tips that can help you plan better. There's actually 4 steps in the planning process. So the first step in planning is to identify your objectives. What is it that you actually want to achieve? Whether it's a personal or a professional goal, get very clear about what you want to accomplish. Objectives provide a direction and purpose to the planning process. It might also benefit you to write that down. What is that clear goal? Then the next step is to assess the resources that are available to you. This could include finances, people, time, and technology. Knowing your resources will help you create a realistic plan that takes into account any limitations that you may have. Once you've identified your objectives and assessed your resources, it's time to develop that roadmap. And a roadmap is a plan that outlines the steps that you need to take to achieve your objectives. It should include a specific task, timelines, and milestones. The roadmap should also take into account any potential roadblocks or risk and have a contingency plan in place to address those. Monitoring your progress is an important part of the planning process. It allows you to track your progress and make any necessary adjustments along the way. Regularly checking in on your roadmap will help you ensure that you stay on track and meet your objectives. And here are 4 tips to effective planning. First, be realistic. When planning, it's important to be realistic about what you can achieve. When you're setting achievable goals, create a plan that takes into account any limitations that you may have. To manage a risk in a plan, you should identify potential risks, assess the likelihood and potential impact of each of those risks, and develop a plan to mitigate or manage each risk. This may involve developing contingency plans, setting aside resources to address those potential risks, or adjusting the plan to reduce or avoid potential risk. It's essential to regularly monitor and assess risk throughout the planning process and adjust the plan as needed to manage risk effectively. So when I'm focusing on my health and eating well, my risk is having just snack foods or candy or even just having stress. And when I develop a plan in place to deal with, okay, if I'm exposed to having a piece of cake at work, how will I respond to that? When I have a plan in place, then I can make sure that I'm making the right decisions to go along with that. If I don't have a plan in place, I'm more likely to go in and eat that piece of cake. So that's one example of taking your risk and things that you know might get in the way of you being successful with a goal that you have, and figuring out how you can adjust and have a plan over that. And there's actually a program, or not a program, but a strategy called WHOOP. And WHOOP is, what is your wish, what is the outcome, what is the plan, or what's the outcome, obstacle, and then what's the plan. And there's actually a great website and resource for that I can provide to you. The next thing that you can do is to just be flexible. Plans can change, and it's essential to be flexible and adapt to any changes that may arise. Build flexibility into your plans that you can adjust your course if needed. To adjust the plan when things change, you should review the plan regularly, monitor your progress, and consider any changes or circumstances or your resources. You should also assess the potential impact of changes and adjust the plan accordingly, considering any risk or opportunities that may arise. Figure out what worked and what didn't, and then brainstorm some solutions. Then you want to involve stakeholders. So stakeholders can be any person that can help you in achieving that particular goal. In the planning process, they can help ensure buy-in and support for your plan. It also provides an opportunity to gather feedback and ideas that can enhance the plan's effectiveness. To involve others in the planning process, you should communicate clearly, provide opportunities for feedback and collaboration, establish clear roles and responsibilities, and recognize and reward contributions. It's also essential to ensure that all the stakeholders understand the plan's objectives and the role that they play in its success. Next, you want to review and revise. So regularly reviewing and revising your plan can help ensure it remains relevant and effective. As circumstances change, make adjustments to your plan to ensure you stay on track and to achieve your objectives. The success of a plan can be measured by comparing the actual outcome to the desired outcome. Key performance indicators can be used to monitor your progress and measure success. So one of the things that I use is my habit tracker. And when I track my particular habits and behaviors that I'm planning to do as that operational goal and plan, then I can see where am I succeeding and where do I need to put more work and practice. And if I'm not meeting that clear objective, then what is the obstacle that's getting in my way, and then I can review and revise how I'm handling that particular situation. So it's essential to establish clear metrics in the beginning of the planning process and regularly monitor progress to determine whether the plan is successful. And when I'm using a habit tracker, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for a pattern of my behavior. If I can be consistent in creating those habits, or if there is something that is causing me to be inconsistent, is that something that I can deal with, or is that something that I need to really work on to improve? Effective planning is an essential component of achieving your goals. By identifying your objectives, assessing your resources, developing a roadmap, monitoring your progress, and following some key tips, you can create a plan that will help you achieve success. Remember, planning takes time and effort, but it's very well worth it in the end. So next I want to talk about how we can use planning in our level 10 life areas. So first we're going to go over health and wellness. When planning your health and wellness, you want to ask yourself some of these questions. Am I getting enough physical activity? Am I drinking enough water? Am I getting enough sleep each night? Am I eating a healthy diet? Do I practice stress reducing techniques? All those questions involve with your health and wellness. What are your plans to achieve each one of those? So my plan is to exercise when I first wake up in the morning. And my contingency plan is to walk extra throughout the day if I'm unable to get that done in the morning. My plan is to drink enough water is to immediately drink 2 cups after my exercise. Drink 1 cup before eating and 1 cup after eating. And if I'm unable to stand the taste of water that day, I try to use like unsweet tea or a water flavor packet that's sugar-free. My plan for getting enough sleep is to prepare my room by playing soothing music, doing stretches, putting away my electronics, journaling, and reading before my scheduled time that I have to go to bed at 9 p.m. My plan for eating a healthy diet is to plan and prepare healthy foods each week. I will also keep healthy snacks available for a quick grab and go as needed. And I'm also working on doing a fasting technique where I'm eating for only 8 hours of the day and fasting for 16. My plan to practice stress reducing techniques is meditating every day when I first get up and practicing breathing from my diaphragm during that time. The next area is your marriage or your significant other. So, do you have good communication skills with your significant other? Do you feel respected and trusted? Do you spend enough time together? What goals do you have that you share with one another? And are y'all being intimate with one another, and are you happy with that intimacy? So my plan for communication skills is really about telling him what has been happening in my day, things that we need to get done, and then things that we're working on together. Another tip would be to find your own love language and use your love language with him and his love language with you, so that you're providing each other with what each other need. And this morning I also thought about, after my husband made me laugh, I was like, humor is like one of the main things that help us to stay connected. As long as I'm getting a laugh every day, then I feel like we're connecting. You want to have at least 5 positive things and connections with each other for every 1 negative one. So that's something to really shoot for and pay attention to when those positive things are happening throughout the day. I try to really focus on appreciating my husband and in seeing and acknowledging all the things that he does for me in the day. For your career, do you find your work meaningful? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years in your career? Do you seek a mentorship or advice from a leader? My plan is to retire from school counseling after 25 years and create my own private practice where I will see kids and teens on the spectrum, supervise other counselors, and maybe potentially create courses for people to live a happier and healthier life. And also that including counselors that have to earn their CU credits. I would like to create coursework for them to take those courses so that they can earn those continuing education units. For my physical environment, do you have a place to go where you feel safe? Do you have the environment that brings a sense of calm in your life? Do you find your surroundings encouraging and good physical and mental health? So my plan for my physical environment is really just to keep things clean. So I'm keeping the kitchen cleaned every night and making my bed each morning. And then weekly I'm going to pick up around the house and do our laundry and clean our floors and our bathrooms. And then monthly we do a really deep clean on one room in the house, so that by the whole year we've at least done one deep clean in each room in the whole house. I also make sure that my areas are clean at work every day before I leave. So in the area of family and friends, do I feel free from loneliness or isolation? These are questions for you to ask for yourself. When making a decision, do I seek advice from peers or support groups? Do I feel close to immediate or extended family? Is there someone I can call if I need support? Do I have at least one social connection each day? It's very important to create your own community of people that can support you. And my plan is to reach out to my family and friends on a weekly basis. I actually set an alarm to remind myself, and then when I see that alarm go off, I may call them or I may text them. I also joined a book club to get involved with a group of women, and I also try to get involved with my church. Another area is your fun. So what are you enjoying doing for fun? What are your hobbies? How can you add more fun and enjoyment into your life? I plan fun around my time with my family and friends. So some of these areas of your level 10 life actually overlap a little bit. I also try to plan fun activities to do alone. So my family is planning time each day to do something fun together. This week we played hide and seek, we read a book together, we played with Legos, we got in the hot tub. Today we went to go see a movie at the movie theater. I also enjoy doing art and crafts or reading a book. So I plan those activities in my days or weeks as well. I just finished listening to a book on audio tape, The Lost Apothecary, and it was absolutely amazing. Just a side note there. Fun is typically combined with me for those other areas, so I plan things with that in mind, getting in that quality time with family and friends. And the next area that I want to discuss is spirituality. So in your spirituality, ask yourself some of these questions. Are you aware of what values are important to you? Do you participate in meditation, prayer, or yoga? Have you spent time in nature recently? That's definitely something that really connects with me. My plan is to do meditation each day to help me ground me spiritually. I also feel closer to God when I'm in nature, so I really try to plan things to be outside. So if it's not too cold and not too wet, then there's a track nearby where I live that I go for a walk in the morning, and just having the wind on my face and watching the sunrise can really help me start my day in the right place. And even if I can't get that, if I'm just driving to school and can watch the sunrise, that can also be very helpful as well. I also plan to attend church and spend time sharing my spirituality with my family. So personal growth is another area in having a level 10 life. So do you have a sense of self-worth? Do you appropriately express your feelings to others? Do you maintain a positive outlook most of the time? Have you read a book lately? Have you worked on improving your memory? Have you tried a new activity such as learning a new language, writing a poem, learning a new instrument? Is there a class that you can enroll in to learn something new? So my plan for my personal growth is to always be nurturing my mind with positive thoughts and inspirations. I have several personal growth mentors where I read their blog posts or listen to their podcast and follow them in social media. I also want to grow by experiencing new things, so I'm always planning new things for us to do and learning all the time. So I might be doing a new art project or a craft. We typically go camping to a new location once a month, so that helps create another side of personal growth and fun and family, kind of all rolled into one. So contribution is another area to have a level 10 life. How much time are you giving of yourself to others? How can you contribute financially to that cause that you believe in? And what types of kindness do you want to spread or to make a difference in your community? My plans for contribution include providing free resources to help others. I also want to contribute to my church as things arise. I also plan donations of things to Salvation Army that we have in our home that we no longer need. And in the area of finances, do you have a retirement account or another plan for your financial future? Do you have a monthly budget? Do you know where you're spending your money? I plan my finances by revising and reviewing them weekly and monthly. My husband and I sit down about monthly to discuss our plans and how we want to use our money. We go over what we're doing right and maybe what we need to improve and adjust. So if you're interested in more ways to plan your level 10 life, I have a free planner and resource on my website, masteryourmoment.net. Check it out to find out more information and download yours today.